You have to be able to track all of those and keep them organized. And really, the thing is, it's not hard. Matt, if you just spend, like, here's what I used to do. I would make, if I had to, one straight up office day. Usually it'd be Monday. I wouldn't want to go out in the field Monday. It was after the week anyway. So I would sit in front of the computer. I would answer all my emails. I would check up on all my supplements. I'd send all my invoices. I'd do all my paperwork, input all the pictures, scan and upload all my agreements and shit like that. That's what I would do. So it was done. But then throughout the course of the week, like, I would designate maybe just the first hour of my day was paperwork, because if you just, it's kind of like, I think I use the example sometimes of, it's like keeping your room clean. Okay. And this is kind of a silly example, but if you wait until there's like 16 Arby's bags and cups and like you have no clean underwear left and there's like piles of laundry and there's dust and you're like, it's just a mess, then you have a lot of work ahead of you. And because you have a lot of work ahead of you, you dread it. So you keep putting it off. It gets worse and worse and worse. Instead, it's like, if you just every day spend 5 minutes, here are my clothes that I took off. And for some reason, even though it took me the same amount of energy to put them on the floor instead of put them in the hamper, I'm going to put them in the hamper now. I'm going to put away my clothes. I'm going to throw away the cups that are, on my nightstand today. If you just kind of maintain everything, if you do a little bit of everything every day, you will never feel overwhelmed. You'll always be on top of your shit. And that's how you do it. Just don't let it pile up. Tackle it while it's small,
The
So,
paperwork is supposed to be whelming. It's supposed to be tedious and whelming, but once you delay it and put it off, it's overwhelming. It's
right.
almost like you don't even know where to start.
It's so much. It can be so much. But it doesn't have to be,
Right.
you know?
That's all I got.
Cool. Well, then Matt and I will talk about time management. I'll show him how I used to organize my files, and we'll just kind of prepare you for when the flood comes, because I'm telling you it's coming. And it's a good thing. It means that you're busy. It's better to be too busy than not busy enough, but you have to be ready for it because it'll kill you. It will smother you if you don't. So what I like to do is, like, I I know that everything is on tablets and shit now, like everything's on your phone and whatnot. However, I always personally, for whatever reason, liked to write things down because I liked the actual activity of crossing it off. Like, I am done. I call it like a check mark orgasm. I'm like, fuck yeah, that's done. I don't even have to think about it anymore. And so if you can organize your day and put everything on paper for like Tuesday, I have to call this person, I have to send this email, I have to write this estimate, I have to do this inspection, and I have to knock 15 doors tonight. If at the end of the day you have checked all of those off, you've done them, you don't have to think about it anymore. And that's something that people take for granted, but in this industry, like, you can trick yourself into making yourself feel overwhelmed or really busy when really you're not. It's just like everything is so abstract because you have these ideas of things you're supposed to be doing that you can't, like, it just, I don't know. It turns into this cloud of misery that hangs over your head. It's very bizarre that it happens. So what I really recommend is, if you can get yourself, or maybe you have one, but like one of those planners that has a full page for like each day. So Monday has its own full page. It's not like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, next page, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get yourself one of those. And the first thing that you do is, like, at the beginning of the week, and make it like, if you follow my suggestion and you make your office day Monday, take just 15 or 20 minutes to literally put everything down on your planner. Like, first and foremost, non-negotiable things that happen. For example, for me, it'd be like, I work out from 9 to 10, right? So that would be that slot. I wouldn't do appointments during that time unless I have like an adjuster meeting pop up or something like that. Put that stuff in. If you have a child and you have to, pick them up from school at 3:30, then you block off 3:30 from 4:30. So on and so forth, church activities, clubs, hobbies, whatever it is. If you have some non-negotiables, put them in there. Okay? Block it off. Next thing is, block off your office hours. So if you're going to commit to being in the office, and what I would maybe recommend doing is what I've found, and this could change, this is not like a hard and fast rule, but I've always found that adjuster meetings typically happen between like 8 and 11, like most of the time. They're typically in the mornings. And I think the reason just being is adjusters like to get out of the heat, get them done, and then spend the hot part of the day doing their paperwork. So I would maybe leave that area flexible, do lunch, and then in the middle of the afternoon, you could do an hour of office time. Because in the middle of the afternoon, you're not really going to be doing inspections because most people are working. You're obviously not going to be doing lead generation because most people are working. So it's kind of a dead weird time, and you can be a little bit flexible there. So that's something that you can do. I would always say, and I know right now you're not having to do it, but your evening hours, there's like this golden window between like 5 and 8. That's like you're going to get your most bang for your buck door knocking at that time and then doing some inspections. However, let's say that week 1, you spend a bunch of time knocking doors, and you have the following week for week 2, you've got boom, boom, boom. Every evening is like stacked with inspections. You're like, hell yeah, I'm feeling good. Got a ton of inspections going on. But then you realize when week 3 rolls around, you left yourself no time to generate leads for week 3, and now you're at a dead halt. Nothing is happening, right? So you have to do an even split. Like each week, designate certain days and certain windows for appointments, but then also designate certain days for certain times just for knocking doors or making phone calls to generate leads. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So, because if you, like, one thing we used to say is we would look at it like this. What's more valuable for 1 hour? One inspection that may or may not have damage, they may or may not sign, and they may or may not get approved, or 1 hour where you line up 4 more inspections. Which hour is the most valuable?
The second option.
Right? So that hour spent knocking doors is by far more valuable in opportunity than that 1 hour doing an appointment. So that's one thing that's going to be so important. Like, you just need to decide, and we already did this on our first call. We said, all right, how if you want to make X amount, and I think that it was like 60 grand was your bare minimum, 80 grand was your should, and then 120 was your wild, crazy, big, hairy, audacious goal. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Steel trap up here. Just kidding. Normally my memory's so bad. I feel like my brain's debilitating. Drug abuse. I'm not sure. But I think that, like, just kidding. Oh, no, I'm not. But I think that if you can just look and go, okay, I have to complete, 10 inspections this week for me to wind up at the end of the day, after all is said and done, approvals, signs, no signs, et cetera, et cetera. Let's just say 5 deals out of there, just to be conservative. Then I need at least 5 appointment times. I'm going to have an appointment time at Tuesday at 5:30, Tuesday at 6:30. I'm going to have one at Wednesday at 5:30 and 6:30 and 7:30, Thursday at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and 8 o'clock, and then Saturday at 10 a.m., 11 a.m., and 12 p.m. So then you just mark those off. You're not doing anything during those times. Those slots are, your mission is to fill those slots up. Okay. And then around there you go, all right, what does that leave me for door knocking? Is this enough time? If I have to knock 70 doors, then I'm probably going to need, how many hours? If you say you need at least 3 minutes per door, so that's only like 2 hours. That can't be right. That can't be right. No, 210 minutes divided by 60. What is that? 3.5 hours. So we'll just say 4 hours. So if you just knock for 1 hour on Monday, 1 hour on Wednesday, and 2 hours on Saturday, you're set. You'll fill up those times, and if you commit to that every single week, you are good as gold, my friend. Okay? So that's what I recommend doing. And first, you might feel like it's silly or micromanaging yourself, but I promise it's not. And once it's on paper, it's out of your head. And that will be so liberating once you're getting busy. So that's what I'd probably do. What are your commitments right now? Do you have sports teams, children, girlfriend that you guys have date night, anything of that nature? No. So you are just working like a slave right now. Perfect. Which I always say, yeah, make hay while the sun's shining. This is the time. Like, I just had a conversation yesterday with Allison, and she's a sales manager, so she's leading her sales team. But we talk about this time of year is like when you need to be okay with busting your ass from sunup to sundown. And it might feel like a little bit overwhelming sometimes. And yes, I do recommend taking at least one day a week where you shut off your phone, you don't check your email, you drink whiskey, and you watch Netflix, right? Like, don't think about work. So, but this,
Horrible.
what do you mean? It sounds horrible. Fine, fine. Drink kale shakes and jog. I don't care what you do. You're no fun at all.
Here and go fishing. No.
That's perfect. Then do that. That sounds excellent. Wear sunscreen. So, but that's what I like to say is like, if I can kind of ingrain something in you or kind of open up your mind to the hustles, what yesterday I was calling it, kind of developing hustle culture, which is, listen, yes, you are going to be working harder than you normally would, harder than you would like to work during this time of the year, because this is your opportunity right now. There are deals, the storm activity is fresh, like there's shit to do. When October, November, December, January, February roll around, it's not like this. And so you need to earn that time off, because you could fall on the crutch of, well, it's winter. I can't, what can I do? But that excuse is pretty shitty when you don't have any money in the bank. It's like, fuck, what am I going to do? So in the spring and summer, you just need to like boom, 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 get after it, because there is nothing more awesome, and I can tell you this from personal experience, than busting your ass, selling, 7 figures for the year, having $250,000 in the bank, and then being like, I'm going to take 3 months off because I can. I've got money. I deserve it. And I earned it, But where I'm coming full circle with all this is that big goal that you want to have, like for wintertime, taking time off, having money, like enjoying the fruits of your labor. That only comes if you can manage your time well enough to make all of that happen throughout the main core of the year. You know what I mean? Once you start kind of putting the pieces together, just make it a plan. Like that way you just, like I said, I know I've said this 1,000 times, but it's so important. You don't have to think about it. And then you can focus on your activities instead of your results. Because if you're doing the activities necessary, the results will come, right? It's like, there's a million different examples. I don't know why. I always have cake examples and fitness examples. These are like my only things. I don't know why. Deal with it, Matt. Deal with it. But, one example that I like to use is like, if let's say you go to the like doctor and he's like, you gotta lose 15 pounds, like your heart is not good or whatever, and they're telling you need to lose 15 pounds. Well, if you're just constantly thinking about, okay, well, I need to do, and you don't have a plan for it, you're just going to be miserable the whole time. And then if you get on the scale and nothing's changed, you're just like your pay, it's aggravating. But if you go to a personal trainer and they go, we got this. All right, if you want to lose 15 pounds in the next 6 months, then you need to eat this amount of calories. Here's how you track it. And I want you to exercise for 35 minutes a day, 4 days a week. That's all you have to do. And it is math. You'll burn the calories. You'll lose 15 pounds. Just stick to it. Now, you don't have to like weigh yourself all the time and just run on the treadmill for what feels like forever and then wonder if it's enough. If every day you follow the diet plan and you do your 35 minutes of exercise, in 6 months, you will have lost your 15 pounds. It's how it works. And you don't have to think about it anymore. You don't have to gauge your results, because when you've only lost 3 pounds and you're like, it doesn't matter, because you're doing what's necessary to get to the finish line. So you don't have to think about it anymore. But then you're not focusing on, like I said, you're not focusing on the results anymore. It's just doing these things. At the end of the day, did you do them? Yes. Great. You're on pace. Did you do them? No. All right. Well, make up for it tomorrow, So now I need to just take a couple breaths and drink some caffeine. Is that okay with you, Matt?
Sure.